عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. The fourth reason why extremism or radical tendencies are strongly rejected by Al-Islam, because oftentimes we hear that those extremists are fighting for justice. Let me begin by acknowledging that justice in Islam is an absolute right of everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God the Almighty, has created us on the basis of justice. And La ilaha illallah, the very foundation of Islamic teaching, is about to establish justice. Because if you believe in La ilaha illallah, but you don't establish justice within yourself, your family, your community, towards your own self, towards your own family, and towards others, it means the La ilaha illallah that you believe in is questionable. So justice is paramount important. And I used to say, without exaggeration, that justice is life itself. Humans living without justice is a no life. And for that reason, it is clear from the Sifatullah, the characteristics of God in Al-Islam, that every single Sifat is in a form of subject, Fa'il. In His creation, Allah is Khaliq. In His mercy, Allah is Rahim, Rahman. But when it comes to one particular characteristics of Allah, Sifat of Allah, in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the form of ism, noun. And that is, justice itself is al-adl. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not calling Himself as the adilun, the just, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala characterizes Himself as justice itself. He is the adl itself. Why? Because again, life without justice is a life without God. And underestimating justice in human's life is underestimating human's life and God Himself in our human's life. It is very much questionable, particularly those governments who claim to represent the teaching of Islam, represent Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such claim governance, yet they don't give justice to the people, no freedom, no dignity. That is, in my harsh word and statement, is a lie. Those governments who claim to be Islamic governments, yet justice is absent in the life of the people, they are a big liar. So when you come back again to fight for justice, it is paramount important. But the question is how to fight for justice. In this regard, there is a very important verse in the Holy Quran that reminds us very, very strongly. And I think this is one of the ayah that many khatibs, many imams or scholars who deliver sermon on Fridays will repeatedly recite it to the people. At the end of the khutbah, the imam will say, Inna Allah ya'mur bil adli wal ihsan. And this statement is taken from the Holy Quran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding justice and also commanding ihsan or kindness. In other words, it is difficult to imagine that a genuine kindness can be found in human's life without an establishment of justice. But on the other hand, Islam has a very high moral standard that in order to establish justice, kindness cannot be ignored. And as I mentioned earlier, that the very universal teaching of Islam is about compassion, it's about love, mercy, it is about kindness, it is about building partnership, it is about building joy and happiness for everyone. So when we talk about justice and fight for justice, we must not forget that being kind in the process is very, very important. Not in the name of justice and in the name of fighting for justice that we do every single things that contradict the values of Islam in terms of compassion, in terms of love, in terms of mercy, in terms of kind. I think it's time to take back our moral standard. That when the people are doing bad things, we cannot just be tempted to do the same thing. Because the Holy Quran again reminds us, idfa' billati hi ahsan. Even in time that we have to defend ourselves from transgression, from aggressions, then we have to defend ourselves in a better way. Because evils cannot be thrown out and cannot be abolished by turning ourselves into evil things. I would like to end by reminding us that when extremists, in the name of fighting for justice, but they're doing atrocities, killings, innocents, bombings, destroying lives and properties, shedding blood, I have to say very clearly, but they are not fighting for justice, but they are themselves our oppressor. They are not adl, but they are zalimun. They are oppressor and they are unjust. And hence Islam opposes them, and hence they do not represent Islam in any way. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.